If you watched any of my study related videos for more than 10 seconds, you will know how much I emphasize on making good and effective notes. I literally spent 15 minutes making notes in a 10-minute study vlog. I also made my short notes pretty neat and effective for JEE, which I open sourced for everyone to use, link in description, and I do get quite a lot of comments asking me to make a video about making better notes, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. In this video, we take a deeper dive into the science and procedure of making more effective notes and how to use its power to awaken your Mangekyo Sharingan. So let's talk about this question in a broader viewpoint first. Why take notes in the first place? As a student, I personally am not that good at holding not so trivial information in my brain for a long time. I let my notes do that work for me. Studies also show that making notes actually help in memorizing information, and also as a student in times before exam, it is quite troublesome to revise a whole book. But if you make short notes, you can go through the syllabus in a much shorter time, as every important thing is already mapped out on that short note beforehand. I hope you're convinced about the impact effective note-taking can have on your study and its outcomes. The first point I'd like to make is to put away the screens. Although it's highly pitched by tech companies, taking notes using some electronic device isn't the optimal way of taking notes. Although it might be easier and a quicker process, the studies are clear. I'd like to share the study conducted by Princeton University in 2014. In this study, a class of students were divided into two groups. One were told to take notes by hands and the other on their laptops on their phones. After conducting 3 exams with different exam parameters, it was seen that the first group always scored almost twice as good compared to the other group. So it is inevitable that taking notes on paper by hand is the best way of taking notes for most people. But still, everyone functions differently. If digital note taking works best for you, feel free to continue with it. Before I start deconstructing my own note-taking process, I'd like to point it out to everyone that there is no ideal or perfect process for note-taking. Note-taking is a highly personalized process. I developed my own over the year and I suggest you to do the same. From once using 2 different colors and highlighters, I gradually simplified my note-taking process. After coming to college, I started using only one black pen for taking my notes. You don't need to have a beautiful handwriting, just write with care, keep your words clean and your lines straight. If you're struggling with that, feel free to use pages with grids or some horizontal lines. My notes can generally be deconstructed to consist of the 6 different components: subtopics, bullet points, definitions, exceptions, mind maps and diagrams, and any kind of mathematical expression. There's nothing new to this, you should be familiar to all these things. If you're using highlighters or different color pens, you can easily make them look different. But if you want to use only one pen like me, you have to get a little creative. I like to write the subtopics in a slightly bigger font and make some kind of underline below it or a box around it. You can customize this as you wish. I personally like the drop shadow one, this looks pretty cool. Then below the subtopic name, I would make bullet points to make notes of informations of important lines and phrases. Try to keep this as short and as dense with key information as possible. Next, you can use short arrows or abbreviations like EG for writing down the examples. In case there is an exception or a piece of information that doesn't directly tie up with the other topics on that page, but that is still important, I make boxes on the right side of the page. Making it on the right side makes it easier to distinguish as an outlier because this is the only thing indented to the right side of the page. Again, feel free to customize these boxes as per your wish. Next, we get to mind maps. Mind maps are an amazing thing to memorize relations and trails in a concept. I used to make these mind maps for all the chapters in organic chemistry while I was preparing for JEE, which is something like all the reactions of making aldehyde on one side of the page and its reactions on the other side. The other thing is diagrams, which is kind of self-explanatory, and the only thing I'd like to say about making mind maps or diagrams is to keep them neat and understandable, which can be pretty difficult while you're following along with the lecture. In such cases, you can keep a pencil handy, probably. Make a rough diagram with the pencil during the lecture, and after you're done with the lecture, you can erase the pencil diagram and make a neater diagram with the pen by taking as much time as you want. This practice also helps you go through the topic for a second time in a very quick succession. This can be really beneficial, but I still don't use it because I'm lazy. I draw everything first hand, but feel free to do whatever floats your boat. Next on the list are mathematical expressions. These include equations, relations, conclusions, and everything in between. Whenever I encounter any kind of mathematical expression, I try to write it in such a way that it's horizontally centered in the page. And I also make a simple box around it. This is especially important when you're working through a long proof or a derivation. When you reach the end of the proof and you finally have the relation that will need to apply at other places as well, you can put a box around it or highlight it in any way you want. If you do this in times of revision, you won't need to go through the whole proof step by step all over again. Instead, you can just look at the end product and instantly remember how you actually worked out through the proof. In case you're having trouble with remembering the steps, the whole proof is already there and you can go through it all over again. One additional tip I'd like to add is write less, but don't leave the new yet trivial stuff out. If there is something that you learn for the first time, we are always learning new things in our lives, and some parts of this might seem really trivial with the logic and understanding in mind at that particular time. Like if you're in a physics class and you already have studied a particular chapter for 1 hour, then we find something new. It might seem really trivial to write down in your notes at that particular moment of time, but you have that mindset of studying that exact chapter for 1 hour. Everything is really crystal clear to you at that point. It might not be at a later position. I face this problem a lot myself. I choose to not write down something thinking that is too trivial, but end up forgetting that exact piece of information later. My advice would be to note down every new thing, even if it seems trivial at that moment. Whereas if you remember something from before and encountered that again in a lecture, you might want to leave it out because you already have that part of information internalized, and also because we don't want to make our notes turn into a book. We're trying to keep our notes as concise as possible. That's why another thing is to write less. Make only the important points, don't write everything. Not everything can be important from a book or from a lecture. They may be important for understanding but not for revision. You leave the working out of problems, you leave the trivial proofs, and only keep the relations that you're actually going to use, the things that can actually be useful. That's about all the things I could tell about making better notes and more effective notes. I hope that you awaken your sharding gun with this and go and win some battles. If you find this video helpful, leave a like and leave a comment to help the YouTube algorithm, because the more amount of comments, the better the video performs, apparently. Like really leave a comment about how I can improve. I do read through all my comments. And do feel free to have a look around my channel. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. It's absolutely free. Whether you did any of those, I'd like to thank you for taking your time to watch this, and I hope you're doing well. These are weird times we're going through, and I want you to know that it is okay to feel unmotivated. And is unmotivated a word or is it demotivated? I don't know. With that said, I'll take my leave. I'll leave you with 2 other videos that might interest you if this is the first time here, and see you soon.